Do you ever have one of those times where you want to create something and you just want to have some fun? Well, this project was one of those for me. I wanted to create with this really fun, beautiful day stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, and I wanted to do something colorful, something fun, just playing around with some watercolors, and I really love how this card turned out. So let's talk about what I did to create this. I started off by stamping images from the Beautiful Day stamp set onto watercolor paper. I really love the stained glass effect these butterflies have, and I thought it would be really fun to just play around with some watercolors and color them in a rainbow of different colors. I'm stamping with Simon Says Stamp embossing ink so that I can heat emboss these butterflies with white embossing powder. Now, if you've never done watercoloring, this is such an easy technique because this is a form of emboss resist. Embossing lines are going to help keep your watercolors inside the lines. And you're not going to have to worry about the colors blending together as much, unless you want them to blend together by mixing different colors. However, when you're using embossing lines, it's really going to help keep the watercolors in place. This is a really super simple technique. And even if you've never tried watercoloring, I'm pretty sure you're going to be comfortable trying this out. Now, I also stamped some leaves that are part of this stamp set, and I stamped quite a few of those so that I can color and cut out a whole bunch of them to use in my scene. The way I started watercoloring these images is just picking out a few different colors. So I chose teal and a green color, and I'm mixing them as I add them down onto my leaves. And again, as you can see, these embossed lines are creating segments, little wells basically, for the color to sit in. And it's not going to blend with the other colors that are part of these images, because they're separated by the embossed lines. I'm having a lot of fun mixing the colors together as I watercolor because this was that kind of project for me. I just wanted to play around and not have to think too hard about what I was doing and just have a good time creating. As you watercolor these images, I definitely encourage you to play around with different color combinations. I chose to do each butterfly a different type of color, so in this case I did pinks and a little bit of a darker pinkish reddish color, and I really like that color combo. And for some of the other ones, I went with yellow and orange. I did blues, different teals and greens, and this was just really fun to be able to play around with my watercolors and get to see them all in action. I get to try out a lot of different colors as I'm doing this technique. So as you can see, we're just finishing up the watercoloring here, and I'm getting ready to set these aside to let them dry. Once they're dry, I'm going to die cut them with the coordinating dies. As I'm cutting them, I'm going to put some purple tape on top of the dies to hold them in place because I don't want them shifting as I cut. The purple tape is a really nice low-tack adhesive tape, which means it won't tear your watercoloring or the paper when you go to remove the tape from your project. So I really encourage you, if you're cutting out a whole bunch of dies at once, to definitely adhere them down with a bit of tape. And the purple tape is definitely one that I would recommend. Now, all of these butterflies and leaves are going to go on top of a background. And I thought it'd be fun to use some yellow behind there because I felt that would really help make these images pop. So I chose some squeezed lemonade distress oxide ink, and I'm blending this onto just a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just getting a slight halo of color. Once I have that put down, I'm starting to adhere my images onto my project. Now, I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted these laid out, so as I'm adhering them down with foam tape, I'm not pressing on them because that's giving me the chance to be able to lift them back off the paper and adjust their placement a little bit if I don't like where I've put them. Now, you'll notice that the butterflies have a little bit of dimension, and you know how I did that? All I did was fold the wings in. So right at the body, the center of the butterfly, take both of the wings on either side and give them a little bit of a bend up. That's going to give you a perfect place to add a little bit of glue, which will hold the butterflies down. I'm using Simon Says Stamp Craft Tacky Glue. And then that's going to create the look of these dimensional butterflies. Super simple, and you didn't have to use a whole lot of adhesive to do it. So after I've adhered all the butterflies by giving them that nice pop of dimension and adhering them down with a bit of liquid glue, I'm finishing up by tucking a few of the smallest leaves in place. Now, I wasn't done with all the color and sparkle at this point. I wanted to bring in some extra shimmer to these images by putting down some strawberry shortcake sequins from Simon's stamp. I love the colors in this sequin mix, and they match so perfectly with the colors that I've picked out for my butterflies. I popped my entire card panel here off of a Simon's stamp fog card base, and our sentiment is from this really awesome word mix set. This is a birthday themed mix, and it comes with the coordinating dies. So I stamped and embossed that onto black cardstock, cut it out with the coordinating dies, and that is going to finish up the sparkly card. You'll notice I did add a little bit more shimmer to the butterflies, which was made with just a little bit of glitter glue. I just took a bottle of glitter glue and just started putting it on different areas of the butterflies, and I love the little bit of sparkle that it gives to each of them. I hope that today's video has been inspiring to you, and maybe is even just an encouragement to try out some watercoloring if you haven't done it already. If you're new to watercoloring, this is a technique that I think is really going to help you get your feet wet in starting out, because this is super simple. By starting off with the Emboss Resist, you don't have to worry as much about watercoloring starting to go into different places where you don't want that to be and you don't want it mixing with other colors. This is going to help you learn more about your watercolors because the embossed lines are going to hold that watercolor in place. Alright, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. I will be back again very soon with more to share. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye!